You know, sometimes in life things just seem too good to be true, but this thing is brilliant. It's brilliant. It's so quiet. There's no track. I love it. Oh my goodness. This is the best purchase I've ever made. Hello, Corvette. Hello, Corvette. Well, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. My very crude setup here. It's actually my first video here in the new house. And what are we doing today? We are putting in a garage door opener. This is it. This is the entire thing. No track to deal with. It just mounts on the side of your garage door. And from what I've read, it's pretty straightforward. It's very basic mechanical tools, a drill, and I think that's about it. Looking to do this in about 30 minutes, so let's see if we can knock that out. This could be, if this is a cool product, this could be a freaking game changer. And yes, I'm aware how echoey it is in here. It's 12-foot ceilings. I will mitigate that in the future, just bear with me. And if you follow the channel, you know I'm coming from an amazing garage to a new garage, but I will get it up to speed sooner than later. So, like always, we'll do a little open box. I'll show you putting it in and kind of give you my final review. Sound good? Cool. Oh, and real quick, for those that are curious, yes, this is a brand new construction, new build house. The only thing it did not come with, which was very strange, was a garage door opener standard. They would have done it, but it was some astronomical price. I've done garage door openers in the past. I was like, hey, I'll do it myself. About a month ago, I came across this product right here, which just mounts to the side of your garage, either side. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pull the trigger. It's about 400 bucks, but it saves you a lot of time and effort, no stupid track, and it should be much quieter too. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what we get here. All right, get this guy open. I tell you what, man, moving, selling a house, buying a house, closing with all a week, it's a process, man. It'll test your marriage too. Holy shit. But we got it done. Alright, we get some nomenclature. We'll come back to this. There's a couple different models. I got the one without the battery backup in the event that my house loses power. I think I can go ahead and open it manually and save myself $100. All kinds of little here. Here's the main unit itself. Probably weighs about 15 pounds. It's pretty stout. Pretty simple, just a basic DC motor, I'm pretty sure, with some good torque on it and geared appropriately, and that's about it. And this will mount to the side here momentarily. These are for your little track beams on the side of the door. All kind of wire for that. Wireless remotes, some sort of cover. Like some brackets. Oh, this is garage door opener for your car. It comes with one. I'm gonna need 2 or 3. These are some guides from what I read for your cables. I'm not sure why. We will put them in. We'll see how we do with them, without them. We'll get there when we get there. Some more cables, probably for the little actuator lock. This is the coupler that combines your opener to your door. Lastly, a little bracket to mount the bottom to the wall, and the little cable for release. That's everything in the box. Let's open these little boxes here, see what you get. I believe this is the little actuator. Yeah. This is pretty cool. So long story short, this mounts to the side of your door, where the door comes up and down, and this little actuator, just when the garage door is in place, pops out, locks your door. Pretty easy, right? This is a light, I believe, a remote light. I probably won't use this because in the next few weeks, I'll be doing the crazy honeycomb lights like my old garage, but I don't know, we'll see. I might use it. TBD on that guy. All right, so at this point, I'll just start putting stuff on and filming it for you. And a little bit of trial and error. I've never done this before. I've read a couple read-ups and I watched one other install on YouTube. Yeah, hopefully this will be nice and informative for you guys as well. All right, so first step here, pretty simple. You take your coupler, only one side is gonna fit on your Genie and the other side. I'm assuming the drum dowel is the same size across the board because it fits on there perfectly. And this thing will go all the way through if you let it. So I just kind of put it on there where I thought had some good meat, tightened it up. There is some thread locker on these guys. I just used a 1/2 inch open and wrench and that guy's on there tight. I believe the next thing we're gonna do is a little bracket for right here. Let me read the directions and I'll be right back. All right, here's how we should look right now. Coupler is good to go, like I said. You got this little bracket, and depending on which side you put it on the garage door, it's gonna go on that side. Now I'm gonna use a little torpedo, make sure everything is both plumb and level on the side and top. Once that's good to go, I can tighten up both of these. These can swivel back and forth, obviously. So let me do that. This is a 7/16, by the way, and you're gonna need a 3/16 drill bit to do a pilot hole to go ahead and drive this guy into your wood. Unless you have like an impact, you can just use that, I guess. So I'm gonna get this guy squared up and then we'll move on to the little lock actuator. And what also, you need to leave at least 1/4 inch between your coupler, your roller wheel, whatever this guy's called right there. All right, we're plumb and level on this guy. Oh, one thing I do want to mention, you do have to have a proprietary outlet for this guy. I guess it draws some pretty good amperage. I don't. I'll be using an extension cord for about a week until I can get a couple more outlets installed, and it will have a proprietary guy in the next 2 weeks. But yeah, just realize you got to have a separate outlet just for this guy. All right, now putting your actuator lock in, it comes with this cool little sticker template. You can't really mess it up. You want to have it within a couple inches of a roller wheel. So the most someone could open the door is about 2 inches. And just how it says, we're going to drill these guys out with a metal bit, and it's going to stick right there. I'm going to route our wires to right there in just 1 second. Let me get this guy in real quick and I'll show you how we're looking. All right, pretty quick and dirty. If you got one of these cobalt stepper bits, like this is like the ticket. It made really easy work of this. I did a dry fit, it works just fine. Let me get this guy bolted up and I'll show you how it's bolted up and how I wire it to this guy. All right, here's how it should look when it's all mechanically set up. Just need a flathead on this side and a, what is this? A 7/16 on this guy. Tightens up pretty good. Your little actuator should come through just like that. Easy day. All right, let me get it wired up for you real quick. All right, so we're moving right along. Now, I'm not sure if I did this too high. I don't think it matters where on the track. It's about 1.5 feet, whatever, but plenty of wire. Got it zip tie, looks pretty enough. Black and white goes on your left, white wire goes on your right, meaning there's one that has like a black and white little graphic on it, if you will. Anyways, it's pretty intuitive. You just go underneath your nuts there, or your screws, close this guy down, boom. Good to go. All right, the next thing we gotta do, I think is the most time consuming, is gonna be our sensors on both sides and getting this wired up. Now, you're supposed to do this 6 to 8 inches from the ground. I have a concrete block. I'm gonna do mine probably 14 inches up. I'm okay with that. I can live with that, but just know it wants you to do it about this high, but I'm doing mine this high. So I'm gonna get these screwed in real quick. And I think the longest part's just gonna be routing all the wires, honestly. And then we'll get those into the other little receptacles underneath there. And then, man, then we're almost done, I think. Just a matter of that, just dialing in the stops, if you will. So we'll get there briefly. All right, both my little sensors are on both sides. Like I said, mine are about 15 inches off the ground. I think it's gonna be all right. Now, there's one that's green and one that's red. It doesn't matter which side they're on, but it will matter when you wire them up. This guy into the receptacles up there, which we'll get to momentarily. So let me go ahead and route wires for this guy up and around. This is probably the longest part, honestly, and then the rest should be pretty smooth sailing. You got about 400 feet of this shit, so more than enough wire or cable to do this job, no matter what size garage door you got. I believe this is a 14-foot garage door. I think the max for this guy is a 16-foot wide, if I'm not mistaken, but it rolls pretty good, so there shouldn't be any issues there at all. So let me go get this guy wired up and I'll show you how I do it up there after this. All right, here's where we're at. So far, this has been the longest part, just running the sensor cables back to the main head unit over there, but not too bad. I did leave about 25 inches. I am gonna lower this because I have little kids and I don't have pets, but I'd feel bad if, something happened. It's gotta come down about 10 inches, but that's another day problem. In any case, yeah, pretty easy. Just round it up and around, and keep in mind, everything I'm doing here is kind of cliff notes, kind of specific to what it's gonna work for my garage. Depending on your drum size and everything, it's gonna be a little different. And then just wire it into the head here. It's kind of weird. If you ever dealt with speakers in the past, it's very similar. So coming off of these guys, there's one with they call it a black and white, one that's solid white. It's hard to tell. You can kind of see it right there. How the one on the right has a little etched on black strip. Anyways, those go most forward with the black strip on both sides. And then both of the ones with the black strip are gonna go on the very left right here, together on the left side, and then the solid white ones will go right to the right there. And you can wire it however you want. It's kind of a mess right there, but I'll come back and mess with that. So we're almost ready to fire this guy up. So next thing I'm gonna do is put my little wireless opener up there on the wall real quick, and then we can start cycling power and getting the stops programmed up there. All right, wiring up the little button here is pretty quick and dirty. It's wireless, which is great. It's just one little screw in the back which kind of goes on, and behind the battery, another screw goes right back in there. If you find a stud, easy day. If not, it has little drywall anchors you can use. Next thing we gotta do is put the little safety cord on there, and then we can fire her up. All right, once all the mechanical stuff is hooked up, you move on to this guy right here, which is how you program it and operate it. So the first 10 pages is pretty much just how this thing will kill you and your entire family and your neighbors. And then it gets into the actual programming of the thing. So let me go ahead and fart with this, and I'll give you the summary of how to do this, because it's kind of convoluted, but I think we can figure it out. Now, one thing to know, standard drums on most garage are 4 inches. If yours is larger than 4 inches, make sure you're cognizant of that and follow the certain instructions for that, because it's gonna affect the speed of which your garage door opens and closes. But I wanna say 98% of them are a 4-inch drum, which is just that guy right there, the diameter of it, right there. Oh, and real quick, in case I forget, the release right here, you can make it as long as you want. Mine's about 3 feet. It's engaged right now. To disengage it, you just pull it. You hear that, now it's disengaged, meaning it's not tied into the drum at all, or the roller bar. And then to re-engage it, you just pull it again. Now it's re-engaged. Pretty simple, right? Now to do this, you gotta have the door halfway up to start programming it, but I'll show you that here in 1 second. All right, well, that was suspiciously easy, and everything's done. When I wired it all up, the remote worked. The only thing I had to do was program that to the wall guy, but it's really easy. I'll show you that in 1 second. Now, one thing I had to do, I did is run in the store, is I had to kind of, not shim, but these guys right here were high, and I knew that it's concrete. It was hitting these blades, so it wouldn't close all the way. So I'd run in the store, get some 2x4s, and sister it up there. Now it works great, cool. A little bit wire management I got to do on my end, but not a big deal. Program this thing once everything's plugged in, super simple. Now, before you start with the up and down stops, what you do have to do is release this guy like I showed you earlier, bring it about halfway up, re-engage it. And then I already have it programmed, so I'm not gonna do it again, but I promise you, it's so freaking simple. I started with my down. You hold this for 3 seconds. You'll get a light right there. You push this until it's your desired stop. Mine, I hit the floor and pushed it a little more. And then you hit the program button 1 time, done. Same thing for the up. You hold this down for about 3 seconds. You get a light, you go to where you want it. You let go, hit the program button, boom, done. And like I said, the remote was done out of the box. And this thing just works. I don't know if it's supposed to do anything, but as soon as it's in down position, it locks automatically. Outstanding. Now, to program the wireless wall mount, what I had to do was hold the program button right there on the left for 3 seconds. You get a purple LED on that guy, and then you come over here and you long hold, or you push the the main button 3 times slowly, and that was it, and I was done. This thing's incredible. I got some wire management to do because I had to fart with that, but not a big deal. But I'll show you how quiet it is. Push this guy right here. Cool. Now, one thing it does, because it has like a torque setting, so when it first starts, it's kind of slow and it shudders a little bit, but from what I read online, it's normal. And people that have that, it does that. And I'll show you how this works here when I put it down. So we'll go ahead and hit the remote. See that right there? It kind of shudders. But apparently, it's kind of normal, and it's very quiet. Pretty cool, and that's it. This was pretty brainless, guys. I can't speak to all garages. This is a new garage, but man, that was pretty simple, and it's super quiet. It's almost eerie how quiet it is. But there you go, guys. That's the Genie wall mount. Pretty cool little system. I'll report back in a few months, make sure it's still working, but I'm pretty happy with it. Feel free to ask questions. Now, one thing I did not install was the little wire keepers. They're supposed to keep tension. This thing has more than enough tension. If I feel like I need it, I'll put it on in the future, but I don't think I did. Yeah, and it's great. Look at that. Nothing up there. No crap in the way. How cool is that? So let me get this cleaned up a little bit, and I'm gonna start working on other projects inside the house today. So hope this video found you guys well. Like I said, ask questions, guys. Pretty freaking simple. All right, guys, that's it for today. You guys take care. Mark out.